So if you're big into video games like most of us airsofters are, then you know all about gun skins, all right? Especially if you played CSGO, then you've probably spent a couple pennies on some. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in once again. My name is Kraken, and today we're gonna be talking about Hydra dipping, of course. So a while back, I really wanted to do a cool custom paint job on my airsoft gun. I saw all these pictures on Instagram of these cool airsoft gun builds with these crazy camo jobs, and I was like, man, I want me some of that. But I realized that was a technique called Cerakoting, which you actually have to be good at painting, and you have to use like an airbrush or whatever to actually paint the design onto your gun. You can't just get spray paint and go for it like I tried. And then I came across a technique called hydro dipping, and I was like, hey, I might actually be able to do that. So for those of you who are completely unaware what hydro dipping is, you basically buy a big sheet of film. It comes in like a big roll, and then it's like, yeah, I guess it's just like a film. Kind of almost feels like wax paper. And when you put it in water, it turns into paint, basically. So you can have this design of paint, and then you just drop your gun into it. Not actually, but you know what I mean. And then it sticks to your gun, and you've got a cool camo paint job. So I ordered 2 films. Don't be like me, I ordered mine from eBay because, you know, this channel, we do everything here airsoft-wise, kind of on a budget. So that's what I tried to do. You can do it, I wouldn't recommend it. One of them I got was a carbon fiber film, and it was absolute garbage, did not work whatsoever. But I got another one that was kind of like this camo paint job that I've got on my gun right now, just on the upper receiver and the rail system. And that one worked really well. There are some actual hydrographic film websites that you can get some good quality film from, and that's what I would recommend. So real quick, I'll just walk you guys through the process of hydro dipping your airsoft gun so you guys can do it too and feel confident. It is a little bit overwhelming, all right? I'm not gonna lie, at first, but once you start doing it, it actually is quite easy. There's just a couple steps to it. So let's dive right in. So first off, you're gonna wanna start by just stripping your gun down to what you wanna dip. You gotta be strategic about this. You can't obviously just go throw your red dot sight into water. It's gonna explode. Don't do that. It has to obviously not be anything with any electronic components. And if there's things that move a lot, you don't want those to get all gunked up with paint. Examples being mag releases, obviously your gearbox. You don't just want to dip your gun fully as is. That is a terrible idea, and you will for sure ruin something. So don't do that. So what I obviously dipped was my upper receiver and my rail system. Rail system, obviously, just take off your rail system. Not sure exactly what rail system you have, but there's definitely a way to take it off. Now for the actual dipping process, what you want to do is take the piece that you want to dip, lay it out on your table, get the film, the hydrographic film. You're gonna wanna lay that out and make sure that the shiny side is bottom down. This is the side that's going to be facing outward on your actual gun, and obviously the less shiny side, the matte side, will be the more sticky side that's gonna stick to your rifle and hold the material in place. Now, other than the hydrographic film, all you're gonna need is the hydrofilm Activator, which is a bit of a liquid. It smells awful. My parents got mad at me for doing it in the house, so don't do it. Don't do it in the house. I did mine actually out in the garage. Wear a respirator or something. I mean, this stuff is obviously a chemical. It's not good for the lungs. All right, guys, we gotta preserve those lungs for sprinting out on the airsoft field. But other than that, you're set. So you wanna lay out the thing that you're going to dip, map out basically how big of the piece you need. After you've cut out the shape that you need, you're gonna wanna just get painter's tape or masking tape and go around the sides, the edges, just to hold it in place, because as this is sitting in the water, it is going to expand, and this will just hold it in place and keep its shape. It's very important, or else your design will get skewed and stretch, and it's just gonna be a mess. It's just gonna look like you just painted all over the place. Just once you got this, you're gonna wanna fill up a little container full of water, obviously something that you don't care about it getting a little bit messy with. Once you've filled it up, you want it to be somewhat warm water. They say around 90 degrees for water. And then once you have that already, you're just gonna place your film with the masking tape around it, flat down into the water, Make sure no water gets on top, because that top material is it's paint basically. It's gonna just quickly dissolve. So if you get any water on that, it's gonna be bad news. Restart right away. Now it's gonna shrivel all up the second you put it in the water. Don't freak out, it's doing that on purpose. You gotta leave it for about a minute to let it sit. While it's doing this, it'll shrivel all up, and then it will slowly start working itself out. And then you're gonna wanna get your hydrographic film activator, put that into a spray bottle. I just got a spray bottle, I was kicking around. Poured it into that, and then as it spreads out, once it looks basically normal and there's no creases, you're just gonna wanna spray it a couple times over top, cover the whole area. You don't want some areas being more covered than others. And then basically right away, you'll see it turn to paint, and you wanna dip your object right away. I would try to dip it as fast as possible. Now once it's under the water, the film will hopefully be sticking to it if you got the right film and you got everything else right. And you're just gonna wanna shake the object that you just dipped back and forth to get all the excess film chunks off of it. And then basically you're done. From here it's smooth sailing. Just pull the object out of the water, and then you're gonna wanna go and rinse that with water pretty much right away. Let it sit for a little bit just to make sure that it's actually stuck to the object that you dipped. I find if you do it right away, it just kind of washes away the film. So let it sit for maybe a minute and then go and rinse it off. This will just get all the gooey, painty kind of stuff off. And then just let it sit and you're basically done. Now, one thing I would recommend is clear coating what you've done afterwards, after you've dipped it. Just quickly get some clear coat spray paint and just spray it once or twice, maybe 3 times over the object that you just dipped. And this will just kind of lock in the film, and you won't have to worry about it all scratching off. But basically that's it. Once you've clear coated it, let it dry, let it sit, and you're done. And you've got a super cool looking airsoft gun. But there's so many hydrographic film templates and designs that you can pick from. So you can really get something that suits you. I personally wanted just like this dark camo gray sort of look. My gun's obviously black before, so it just kept it really dark and really subtle. You don't really notice it unless you're kind of looking for it and looking closely. At first I wanted to go something a little more crazy, but I ended up going with something like this. Super subtle, and I just think it looks really cool, so I'm super happy with it. But that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. So get out there, dip some stuff, make your gun look snazzy, look all cool and whatnot. But yeah, just have fun with it and make your gun more personal to you at the end of the day. So really appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. We got tons of cool content coming out here on the channel. I just got a Gate Titan. It's coming in the mail. Super excited for that. So there will be a review, possibly an install video. We'll see. But yeah, lots of cool stuff coming here on the channel. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace!